Why, thank you. I was able to get Robert Greene Ingersoll's 12-volume set from Scotland, and it came over on this boat, and volume number 1 was all beat up. The rest of them hadn't even been read. So I went to the Bennett Street Book School in Boston, and I had them rebound this, and it cost me almost half as much as I had for the whole set. It's the only book that I'll ever leave in better condition than I found it. When I'm gone, someone else will be able to see Mr. Ingersoll's words. Last week in the Boston Globe, there was a picture, and I read it. Over in Australia, they have a new saint. Someone who lived in the 1800s cured someone of cancer in 1993, and the Vatican says so. And I think these people need to have Robert Greene Ingersoll's words. And I would ask if people have time for the contestants to autograph the inside of my book. So years from now, somebody else will see, oh, there was something happening down there. I took this speech from 4 different segments, reply to Reverends Doctors Thomas and Lorimer from Volume 7, The Ghost from Volume 1, The Gods from Volume 1, and What is Religion from Volume 7. I put it together and call it The Wit and Wisdom of Robert Greene Ingersoll. Wherever I lecture, as a rule, some ministers think it their duty to reply for the purpose of showing that I am not fair, or that I am blasphemous, or that I laugh. And laughing has always been considered by theologians as a crime. Ministers have always said you will have no respect for our ideas unless you are very solemn, and being solemn is a condition precedent to believing anything without evidence. And you can only get a man if you can only get him solemn enough, awed enough, he will believe anything. I used to believe that there was in religion no real restraining force. Upon this point, my mind has changed. Religion will prevent man from committing artificial offenses. A man committed murder. The evidence was so conclusive that he confessed his guilt. He was asked, why did you kill your fellow man? And he replied, for money. Did you get any? Yes. How much? 15 cents. And what did you do with the money? I spent it. What for? Liquor. What else did you find on the dead man? Well, he had a dinner bucket with him, some bread and some meat. And what did you do with that? I ate the bread. And what did you do with the meat? I threw it away. Why? It was Friday. A devout clergyman sought every opportunity to impress upon the mind of his son the fact that God takes care of all of his creatures, that the falling sparrow attracts his attention, and that his loving kindness is over all his works. Happening one day to see a crane waiting in the quest for food, the good man pointed out to his son, look at this, the perfect adaptation of that crane. Look, said he, how his legs are formed for waiting. What a long, slender bill he has. How he folds his feet in and then draws them out, without ever letting the fish know that he's there. Why, he is thus enabled to get his subsistence. It's impossible to look at that bird without recognizing the design as well as the goodness of God. Yes, replied the boy. I think I see the goodness of God, at least so far as the crane is concerned. But after all, Father, don't you think the arrangement's a little tough on the fish? Few nations have been so poor as to have but one God. Gods were so easily made and the raw materials so abundant that the God market fairly glutted the heavens. They were crammed with these phantoms. These gods not only attended to the skies, but they were supposed to interfere in all the affairs of men. They presided over everything and everybody. They attended to every department. All was supposed to be under their immediate control. Nothing was too small or too large. The falling of the sparrows and the motions of the planets alike were all attended by these industrious and observing deities. From their starry thrones, they frequently came to earth for the purpose of imparting to man information. It's related of one God that he came amid thundering and lightning in order to tell the people that they should not cook a kid in its mother's milk. Some left their shining abodes to tell women that they should or should not have children, or how to inform a priest to cut and wear his apron, and to give directions as to the proper cleaning of the intestines of a bird. When the people failed to worship one of these gods, or failed to feed and clothe their priests, which was pretty much the same thing, God generally visited them with pestilence and famine. Sometimes he allowed some other nation to take them into slavery, to sell their wives and children, but generally he gutted his vengeance by murdering their firstborn. The priests always did their whole duty, not only in predicting these calamities, but in proving when they did happen that they were brought upon the people because the people had not quite given enough money. Now, Robert Green Ingersoll, he wrote so many wonderful things. He's with us here, just a shadow of him. It's an actual letter written by Robert Green Ingersoll in 1886, which I found so cool to have, but his words are so much more important than just his signature. His words that say, religion can never reform mankind because religion is slavery. It's far better to be free, to leave the forts and barricades of fear, to stand erect and face the future with a smile, and then to rouse yourself to do all manner of useful things, to reach with thought and deed the ideal in your brain, to give your fancies wing, to look with trained and steady eyes for facts, to find the subtle threads that join the distant with the now, to increase knowledge, to develop the brain, to defend the right, to take a place for the soul. This is real religion. This is real worship.